here's a question too, and I talk about people like this too when I'm gaming with on our live stream, and people come in and they they don't want to use it, and if someone else uses the clan tag NGT, they're like, oh, you're not NGT, you're not supposed to be using that. You know what? My honest to God opinion of it is, I would love it. I would feel better. I would actually like it better if you actually did use NGT. I mean, it's a compliment. I look at it as a compliment. You know what I mean? Like, we're not a clan. People are, always asking, can I join your clan? We're not a clan. We create videos. That's it. We create videos. Yeah, we had the NGT Elite. I said had because we're really not there anymore. We have agency videos, but more or less we're just about creating videos for you. And when we play with you, if I see NGT, I think it's the greatest thing ever. When I go into a random lobby and I see someone that has NGT on there, and they're like, oh, hey, is that Guns? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And he's like, oh, that's so awesome. That's the best feeling ever, man. It's like I've done my job and I've done it well. You know what I mean? That the fact that you're a fan, the fact that you want to use it. So by all means, use NGT. If you're part of our community, if you're a friend of NGT, if you are on our website, if you're on our YouTube channels and you like watching our videos, by all means use NGT. You're part of our family. Use it. I would not be offended by it. I'd love it if you used it. So don't worry about it. And I don't care who uses it, even if they're, hackers or whatever. I can't stop it. And no one can stop you from using any clan tag you want. As a matter of fact, if they tell you grief, tell them to send them to this video. Yell, oh, am I view whoring? Tell them that I said it's okay. I mean, it's okay to use it. Use the friggin' NGT clan. I think it's awesome. All right, the last two here. Why don't I wear a wedding ring? As you notice, I don't have it on. It is upstairs, and I'll tell you, to be quite honest with you, it's because my fingers have gotten chubby. I am trying, like I said, I do have a bit of a cold. I do plan on pounding the treadmill, which is right over there, and getting on it, because I figure, you know what, the more and more I'm on video and with you guys, if I start getting, super gigantic, you're going to start noticing, like, Guns, seriously. And some of you say that, like, oh, you're chubby. I mean, I'm not chubby. You know what I mean? Like, but I am gaining weight since, like, Christmas time. And it's normal for a lot of people to do that. But ever since I had heart surgery in September, I've done nothing. I've just sat here in the chair. And you know what? That is the worst thing for my heart. My doctor and my wife, Pam, Mayonnaise, or whatever you want to call her. Just don't call her your girlfriend. But anyway, they're always on me. They're like, listen, you gotta get on the treadmill, you know what I mean? Like, I just had open heart surgery. Oh, hold on. Let's see who that is. Might be Spider Bite. Hello? No, I'm sorry, she's at work. Sure. Oh, okay, her painting's in, or her painting's on? Awesome. All right, thanks. Okay, bye. That was a call. Look at this. It's like live show. Why edit that out? It's real life. That was a store, like a framing store that called. I had bought Mayonnaise a painting from South Africa. I had it sent there, and it took a while to get here, but it was basically a painting of a lioness and 3 cubs, and it was sort of symbolic of her and her 3 boys. I had 3 boys upstairs, and she absolutely fell in love with it. So I tracked down, well, she knew who the painter was. She was like, oh, I really wish we could have that. It would be nice to have a real painting in the house. And it's it's a print, right? It's not the actual original, because that would set you back thousands. But prints, limited prints, are not cheap either, apparently. But whatever, it was for her birthday, so I got it for her. And that was them calling saying, it's in, because we had it professionally framed, custom framed, instead of going out and getting normal. Because if you're going to spend the money on a nice print like that, and it's something really meaningful to her, we wanted to make sure it was right. So she's like, oh, can we do that? I'm like, yeah, go and do it. And then she's like, I didn't realize how expensive that was. I'm like, all right, well, we just won't do it that often. That's it. So anyway, what was I talking about? Wedding ring. Was that the last one? Yeah, anyway. Too chubby. I gotta get on there because of my health. I do plan on getting in shape. I keep looking down there, the dumbbells. Maybe I should be doing it. It's never too late. It's never too late to do any of that stuff, and I really do need to do it because I plan on traveling quite a bit. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's the other question about the wedding ring. Why don't I wear it? It's not like I go to bars. I don't go to bars anymore. And even if I do, I've never been that person. I know some of you guys are out there and you're a bunch of dogs. But whenever I go to a bar, it's always been with friends. It's always been to sit back, have some beers, have a martini, have cognac or whatever, and just talk. It's just about being with friends. That's the way I've always gone to bars. Never gone to a bar to pick up girls, ever in my life, ever. And the last question, which is something they always say, never bring this up. Never talk about religion, never talk about politics, blah, 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 blah. Because a lot of people, almost everyone has a very firm belief on one of those topics. And so what happens when you give your opinion on it, it usually erupts into a huge argument. But I'm going to answer one of these. And the question was, what are your political views? Are you conservative or are you democratic? And I'm going to tell you right now, I am neither. And my opinion on politics is probably somewhat aspects related to you, and a lot of times this is, and I don't always vote, and there's a good reason for it though. I don't not vote because I don't like any of the parties or anything like that. I just don't like the system. I don't like the system that's in place, and quite frankly, I don't. Here it is. I don't believe in the politics. I don't believe in the people that are in there. I think there's too many lies. There's too much persuasion. There's too much propaganda. It's hard to know really who's got your best interests, and so I choose not to vote because I don't trust them, and I trust that the system itself. You know, if everyone did vote yes, it'd be a problem. Maybe I should vote, but there's enough there that they're going to pick one party over the other. And really, my consensus on it, and I'll take a look at it from a Canadian perspective. And I know in the U.S., you guys are like die-hard, one side or the other. And what is it? Democrats and Republicans. You guys are freaking crazy with your politics, like absolutely ballistico. Up here, we're like, oh, whatever. Knowing it, you know, up in Canada, we're like, well, I guess we'll vote that guy. Oh, I guess we'll vote that guy. And we never like our Prime Minister. Everyone always harps on him. Everyone's always whining about the Prime Minister. It's not like, you know, in the United States, your president, he's the President of the United States, and he is a man of power. In Canada, we have the Prime Minister, and he signs documents and sometimes appears on TV. But it's not the same here. And we have PC, Liberal, NDP, Green. The Green Party is another big up-and-coming one. And then you've got, of course, your Quebec, I believe. I can't remember. They're the separatists, Quebecois. And they want, you know, they're the ones that kind of want to separate and be a separate entity from Canada. And it's been like that for a long time. But anyway, this is why I don't... Oh my God. Seriously? Who's this? Hello? Yeah? She's at work right now. Yeah, if you give her a call, probably at around between 5:30 and 6, she'll be home. Okay? Alright, thanks. Bye. It's the bank for my wife. What the hell were we talking about? Politics! Oh yes! Ooh, it's exciting, isn't it? You're all like, oh, I can't wait. What is he going to say about politics? This is a good thing. And this is, remember, do not let me persuade you. You must think for yourself, all of you. If you're young and you're watching this, these are my personal opinions, okay? So do not simply do what I do and listen to me like I'm gospel, because I don't want that effect on you. You ask a question, I'm going to answer. I don't follow any of the parties involved because I don't believe in them. I think too many times, and you'll see this every single year. Just watch every single campaign and note this. No matter who they are, in the United States too, because we follow American politics in Canada as well, and more or less in the UK, just because of those connections. But when you hear these politicians talking about how they're going to revolutionize, how they're going to change everything, and they've got all these big promises, very rarely do they actually follow through with them. And I'm not talking about being successful and doing what they set out that they're going to do. I'm talking about even trying to do what they said they're going to do. You know, putting at least a little bit of effort into seeing if it's actually possible, trying it out, experimenting. You know what I mean? If you want to change things and create jobs, let us see that you're making some sort of endeavors, that you're actually trying to do something about it. Too many times, a lot of these promises are false promises. So a lot of them are like, we're going to do this, and they sound really good. And what happens is that as long as you're aligned in there, you get swept up. And what happens is you're also going to listen to your parents. And I'm not saying don't listen to your parents, because that's not good. You're going to grow up, and most cases, you are going to have the same ideals as your parents. Your mom and dad say, we're Republican. You end up being Republican. Democrats suck because of this, this, and this. You regurgitate the same. But what I'm saying is you need to stop listening to these outside and educate yourself and listen to it and choose for yourself what side you want to be in. Look at your life and say, why do I? Because you got to understand, everything that anyone says, including your parents, including me, whatever we say is based on, we're biased. We're biased in what's happened in our life. We're biased in terms of what we as individuals want to accomplish in life. Political parties and certain parties have certain ideals. Like say up here in Canada, the NDP are very pro, the New Democratic Party. They're very pro factories and manufacturing plants and support the worker, the working man. But at the same at the same time, you got PC, which is progressive conservative, and they're very concerned about self-employed individuals, promoting the corporations, which are looked upon as evil by the manufacturing people, the people working in factories. But here's the thing. You don't have jobs. You can't support the factory workers and the manufacturers if the PC people that they're supporting, the guys that are starting businesses, like Spider-Bite and myself starting this business, hopefully being able to employ people, but we can't do that if we're not giving the support. If we can't start those businesses, there are no businesses later for other people to be employed with. You know what I mean? Not everyone is ambitious like myself. This is a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and not everyone is up for that challenge. But the few that are need to be given some sort of, support to create those jobs. But at the same time, you can't let the factory workers and the manufacturers and the manual labor, you can't take advantage of them. You know what I mean? You can't take advantage of them and pay them nothing. You know what I mean? You can't just fully go PC and say, here you go, all this money here, and don't worry about the factory workers. They're going to get the job. They're going to have to work anyway if they want to pay for their bills and stuff. So it's so hard to get that in-between factor where it's not biased. And those parties purposely align themselves like that to gain the vote. You know what I mean? There's different ways of doing it. But the bottom line is they all lie. They lie. And I say they lie because half the time the things that they say they're going to do don't come to fruition. They don't happen. They simply use it as a political campaign part, and you get all swept up in it. But you got to think for yourself. You got to go outside there. Don't just listen to your parents because they said this and they said that. And here's the other part that I don't like politics for. In my world, this is the way I would see politics. I'm all up for democracy, but a hybrid of democracy. The people need to be able to choose and vote who they want representing them. But I think there's a problem with education. When people vote, they're not voting with an educated mind. They're not voting because they know what that party stands for. Because they know what the other party stands for and says, they say, I don't like what that party stands for. I don't want them to do that because I don't want my world to be like that. So I'm going to vote for these people. I think, and this is never going to happen, but for me, the only time I will ever start becoming involved in the political party is when the general masses, and I'll call them sheep, but I'm a sheep too. I'm part of the flock. I just choose not to sort of follow them continuously, but for the most part I have no choice. But the general masses, before you go in and actually make a vote on a party, if you're in the US, before you vote Democratic or Republican, there should be a basic test, kind of like your driver's test. You will be allowed to vote when you can successfully answer questions on both parties, when you know what each party stands for, what a Republican stands for, whether it's the social network, whether it's job creation, healthcare, educational, their policy, foreign policies, everything like that. When you have a basic, and I'm not talking about like crazy in-depth information, but the basic concepts of what that party stands for, until you understand and you're aware of what that means, then you should not be allowed to vote. Your voting is based on propaganda. The general masses get, it's like a dictator, like Adolf Hitler. I'm sorry to bring that up, or Mussolini or anything like that. But you get swept up. You hear what you want to hear and you're like, that's the way it is. But the reality is very, very different from that. You need to educate yourself. if you're going to vote, know what each person, if you're a Canadian, go out and read, and don't go onto their websites because, again, it's propaganda. Try and find a neutral person, which is very, very difficult to do. And I hate to bring this up, but think of a Wikipedia where it's just, you know, this party stands for this, this is what the party does. Read it on it. Read what PC is, read what Liberal is, read what NDP is, Green Party, and Québécois. Read what they want to accomplish in this country. And then the one that you think, without worrying about the campaign stuff, you need to know what that party wants to do with your country. And it's the same in the US, Republican or Democratic. Find out, think about your life and where you want to go and what you want to do. Do you want to go into healthcare? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to, you know, push and promote jobs? Do you want to open a business for yourself? Then read about both parties and what they want to do for that. Does one support your dreams and what your goals are? If they don't, why are you voting the other one simply because your parents vote? Educate yourself. That's what it's all about. And so that's why I don't vote, and I'm not aligned with any political party. I don't think that no political party there represents the greater interest. One party is going to get voted in. Like I said, if there weren't enough, then I absolutely would, because I wouldn't want it set down to 3 people voting in the entire country. Never going to happen. Just saying. Most of them will do an okay job, and we can out them anyway. And there's the other thing, the other aspect, and I'm rambling on about this. But if we vote someone in, they should have, there's none of this other, you know, minority governments being able to say, nothing gets done in your country if you keep on blocking the people that you vote in. If you've got a majority government and you voted in, say, a Republican, if you voted them in and they've got 2 years, so let's just say 2 years in office, let's just snip it down to 2 years. You got 2 years to friggin' make your stand. Let them do it. Not being, you know, checked at the border every single step of the way. Yes, you may not agree with it, but you voted them in, for Pete's sake. Let them try and do something. It's so hard for political parties to make any changes, and then at the end they're all complaining, going, well, they didn't do anything. Well, it's because every step of the way someone else is putting the hand up saying, no, you're not going to do that. They need to remove that. If they get voted in, it's kind of like a temporary dictatorship. It's a democratic dictatorship. You vote them in, everyone gets to choose who you're going to vote in, and then for 2 years, you let that friggin' party do what they're going to do. Let them make the changes. Maybe it's going to be drastic. Maybe you're going to be like, whoa, you know what I mean? But let them do that. It's the only way that things are going to get done, and we're not there. So, you know, whether I vote in anyone at this point, even if I did vote, half the time they can't do anything because everyone else is putting the blocks up. All the other parties are like, no, we're not going to allow it. We're going to Congress. We're going to Parliament. We're going to stop this. Let the parties do something. I'll get involved at that point. Absolutely. But we're not there yet. And, you know, maybe in years from now when everything changes, then I'll get involved. Anyway, that's it. I rambled a tremendous amount on that. I might switch this one up. I think I'm going to split this video up because it's kind of long. 2-parter. That way you don't have to watch the entire thing. Anyway, I'm GUNNS4HIRE from NextGenTactics. Remember, if you want something, if you want to ask me something about anything, obviously, simply put it in the comments, but you must add us as friends in order to do so. So do that before you put your comment down. I will approve it if it's not trolling, but anyway, that's it. There's another episode of the 8 Ball. Have a good weekend. Thousands of movies and TV shows streamed directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of NextGenTactics.